There are 4,218 PS2 games, and I'm beating every one of them. I've got to own the game because I'm playing everything on the original hardware, but I've beefed it up with a RetroTink 5X, some component cables, and more to come soon. Can I do this before I die of old age? I hope so.
Pryzm Chapter One: The Dark Unicorn was developed by Digital Illusions and released in June of 2002. Little info for this game exists online, but we can see it was delayed from its original release in 2001. It was supposed to be the first in a line of games that told a bigger story. They somehow got DC Comics to make a small comic for the game in the back of the instruction manual, and Vincent Bettetti, Chief Executive Officer of TDK Mediactive, states that it's one of their first original titles. Beyond this, the game has a Metacritic score of 59 out of 100 and many other very low review scores. Can I beat this weird platformer? Pryzm was recommended to me as a bad game, and it is a bad game, sorry to say. And the sad part of it is that in the front cover of Pryzm, they are so excited to let you know there's a small bonus comic created by DC Comics themselves in the instruction manual. When I say small, I mean like the last 3 or 4 pages of the instruction manual have this comic in it. Now, it does look impressive because it's made by DC Comics, and they actually inject a little bit of their own storytelling into it, which makes it slightly more interesting. However, the game does not reflect that in any way. Instead, the game is a very, very poor excuse for a 3D platforming adventure type game. The unicorns have realized that the plague inhabiting this world and killing off everything and making things terrible was started by a unicorn, and they're kind of confused as to what they need to do next. So they send their youngest unicorn, who is apparently, I don't know, some kind of chosen one, and she's supposed to go stop this whole thing. But she can't go alone because this little gnome is refusing to let her go. He says, "You guys caused this plague, so I'm going with you." They tell him he has to ride on her back. He says no, she says no, they say you must. If you're gonna go with her, your slow ass is gonna stop us, and she has an amulet, which will for some reason protect your life if you are on her back. You cannot die in this game. The amulet will save you before you actually die and just teleport you back to a safer spot. So technically you never die in this game. I don't take any deaths, but that's what they have to do. They are tasked with going to find out where this plague is and curing the plague that they can along the way. It's the only way to actually get to the last boss, is curing the plague. In all realms here, you're not dealing damage to anything. You are only using healing spells. They are all healing. Even though some of them are lightning and fire-based spells, you will be healing things rather than damaging them. Before we get any more story, which it really doesn't do a good job at the beginning here, not until about halfway through do you really understand what's going on, you get this little tutorial, which is cool, but all of the things in this tutorial don't actually exist in the game. These little orbs, the rings, all the things you do here are just to show you how your abilities work. And then you are literally thrown head first into a game you don't actually know the objectives for. The game drops you off right here with no explanations, no visuals to explain your objectives, or even something pointing you towards where your objective may be. It has left you with nothing. So the first thing we do is we walk around and we push buttons and figure out what things happen, because the tutorial was cool and all, but I've already forgotten the tutorial. You can press the jump button twice for a double jump. The second jump on your double jump isn't very good, so you use it sparingly. I mean, just to get up on top of something slightly higher than your regular jump, I guess. Doesn't do a good job otherwise. There are several different ways to heal, or do damage, whatever you choose to call it, in this game. There are several spells. One is your wind attack. This one is weird because it's just tied to your double jump. When you double jump with the unicorn, you will do the wind magic on your second jump, which is fine, I guess. It doesn't really do any healing or damage, so you just use it when you need to jump. But you also have the melee staff attack from the gnome himself. You use your right analog stick and wheel it around in a circle, and you can have him have this little lightning ball zoop around them. This is your main form of attack. It's the main way to actually kill monsters. It's the one thing that does not use the purple meter on the right of the screen, which is your magic meter. The meter on the left, your blue meter, is your health. So as you use this, you can smack them with it. It's a very weird spell. You can rotate it around and smack them one time. The second it hits them, it will disappear. So the actual preferred method is to constantly flick the stick in their direction over and over and over as fast as you can. Click, 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 click. Not wheel it around in a circle, because you need to deal damage, and when it deals damage, it will disappear, so you must reactivate it over and over and over. So get good at flicking that stick. The other thing that this thing does is, if you can tell, it's kind of like a purple or pink, and then suddenly a beat red. When it's beat red, it's practically a compass. It's pointing you towards your objective. If you spin it in a circle, it will show you when it turns beat red where and what direction your objective is. I never really use it because you have a map, so it's not that helpful. Don't worry about that part. Then we have magic for the unicorn and Karak that uses the purple meter on the right. Each of the different areas of the game has them using different magic, but it will use that meter and practically do the same thing. It's used to get rid of the enemy shields and to just heal or deal damage, and that's it. So you need to be careful though, because I'll explain why the magic meter is really important in just a little bit. However, for right now, you need to use both of them to deal the damage you need to actually heal the enemies. You also have another move, the charge move. When you are sprinting, the very second you start sprinting, you have a small time frame where if you hit someone with that sprint, it will deal damage. That is really helpful for shields, as it will reduce the enemy's shields. And at first it seems like that's a bad idea. Why would you want to run headfirst into enemies that can kill you pretty quickly? And again, I'll explain that in a minute. Either way, those attacks are what's used to heal enemies from the plague. As you see, whenever I hit an enemy and a big purple cloud forms around them, they get healed into a human or some other creature, but they get healed into something friendly. So that's what you are aiming to do. Is there is one other thing you will do in each of the levels. You'll heal the monsters and you will heal the flower. That is it. If you're looking for collectibles, look somewhere else. If you're looking for other things to do, fucking look somewhere else. There's nothing else to do. The whole idea of this game is to run around and find these flowers. These flowers are what help stop the plague in a small area. Once you heal a flower, it will make hallowed ground that you can stand on and heal both your health and your magic. But to do that, you must find these small red connecting lines from the flower to an enemy. You need to then heal that enemy to a normal creature, and when you do, the flower will become vulnerable. It's not easy to always tell where those enemies are, and sometimes it's not easy to get to them, but once you do heal it, you have to walk up to the flower and as quick as you possibly can, smack that thing with the staff. Flick that stick over and over and over until the flower dies. And when it does, it will turn into a good flower, healing you, and you can move on to the next one. I think you can do the objectives in any order if you can reach them. Most of the time, there are vines protecting areas of the map you can only make disappear once you heal the flower they are attached to. So you really have a fairly linear experience through a level. You walk up to a flower, find the enemies that are attached to it, kill the enemies, and then as quick as possible, run over to the flower and kill it. That's because, for some reason, the enemies will regenerate from the plague. It's not just enough to kill them. See, you have about 10 to 15 seconds before they change back into their plagued version, meaning that you cannot kill the flower once they've changed back. They will be reconnected to it, making it impossible for you to actually kill it. So you must kill all the enemies as fast as possible and then hit the flower. Yes, this does become a problem later on. I want to be very, very clear that this is the entire game. There are some bosses. There are 5 bosses, which is great, but do you do anything else? I mean, no, you do nothing else. You run around healing these flowers, and when you heal 6 in each level, the level is done. You have a total of 4 lands, each with 5 levels, the 5th level being the boss. So you have 4 levels of walking around, hitting flowers and healing enemies. That's it. It's not just about killing the enemies and getting the flower though. You see, when you're going to do this stuff, you of course will lose health, you will lose magic as you walk around and use it. The only two ways to heal your health and magic that are not just dying and respawning is to step on the holy ground that other flowers you've already healed are on. Cool, I guess. The problem with that is, let's say you're in the middle of a battle and you need to go back and heal because you have no magic or no health. By the time you get back, any enemy you've killed is back from the plague, which means you've just wasted all your time and they've already back. So you have to kill them again. The technically third way you do this is by killing the flower and then having it, of course, spawn the whole hallowed ground right on top of you. This is important because you go in kind of kamikaze, hoping, even with the small amount of health and magic you have, you're able to kill all the enemies and get the flower just before you die. Because if you can do it just before you die, you'll heal faster than you take damage, so then you can heal from what you're doing. It's not always easy, but sometimes it's necessary to do. It's kind of silly. Just run in, kill everything as fast as you can, don't worry about your health because sometimes you just don't have a choice, and hope you can kill the flower before they both respawn and you die. I just wanted to mention here that in between some of the levels, you get some story bits with the Dark Unicorn. This game is Pryzm the Dark Unicorn, something like that. And the Dark Unicorn comes to us in these very cute little sequences, and he looks very, emo, and he talks about all these things he's done. Here's our main character. The gnome can't hear this, I guess. They're talking magically to each other. I'm not really sure why they're able to talk to each other. It's never explained why, what this is happening here. It's got to be some kind of mind thing. But he's trying to convince her that he didn't do this on purpose. And if she comes in here, she's also going to turn into a dark unicorn. So don't do it. I mean, this is chapter 1, so our idea is that maybe at the end of the game, something else happens where there's going to be a chapter 2. But there ain't a chapter 2. Okay, so what else is there to talk about, really? I mean, I guess we'll talk about the bosses in a moment, but instead I want to talk about some of the issues that the game presents us, and they're not fun issues. This section right here is a good one. The flower is in the middle of all of this area. You've got to run around as fast as possible and heal these monsters. These dudes run away from you, meaning that you've got to take very sharp circles, hitting them as quick as you can, healing them, moving on to the next one. There are 3 total dudes you gotta kill, then you have to run up a mountain to the flower and kill it. There were several times where I'd kill all 3 dudes, get up there, and the second I got to the flower, one of them would respawn, meaning I had to go back down and repeat the process until I found a way to get to the flower quick enough no one respawned. See here, I can't deal any damage. It's got these little orange things floating around the air near it. Those orange things show that it is protected magically. Once those are gone, you can just damage it normally. But it's not easy. You have to run around, and these guys specifically try to run away from you. It wasn't fun to figure out. It was kind of stupid. And there's one even more egregious area of the game, because the game is not hard. It's just a weird game. It's just annoying that all you get to do is heal a couple enemies and heal a flower, and then do it again like 20 times. Here is the hardest part of the game, and I am under the impression that it was unintentionally difficult. I don't think they meant for this section right here, this very flower, to be this difficult, but it is. Each of the levels has a different set of enemies, and as you're going through each of the levels, you have to learn how to avoid the things the enemies do. The problem with this level is that there are little fly hives that will spawn these little bugs that will continuously come after you. And at first you think, well, why don't you kill the hives so that they're not attacking you? I will then reiterate that everything respawns after about 10 to 15 seconds. So the time in which you spend trying to kill it to get to the other enemies, you've used magic and maybe lost health. You now have to do everything in within the next 15 seconds or it respawns. And there's several of these things around that have bugs coming out of them. I really did try, but you can see here I killed that hive back there and it is now sending bugs back at me, meaning that I couldn't deal with it quick enough. On top of that, you can see around this enemy there's a big orange shield. That is only able to be damaged by your magic or your charge. The little lightning staff attack I'm doing does not do any damage to shields, so it's fruitless. You can see in the bottom right, my magic meter is all gone, and I can't cast any spells. The only thing I can do is go back to hallowed ground, heal, and come back, and then everything's gonna be respawned anyway. It's practically just easier for me to die and respawn back here, so I don't have to spend all that time walking. It's crazy to think that they put 3 shielded enemies in this area where you are constantly being attacked. And there is another issue with the game. Understanding how your magic attacks actually deal damage. As you can see from all of this video footage here, I am just going ham on them. I'm hitting them with all of my spells, wasting all of my magic, and sometimes I don't even kill one enemy. It's because the aiming, the depth, the 3D aspect, all of it sucks to the point where I don't know what I'm doing. Now there I got an enemy, here I have a very little bit of magic in my inventory, and now I have no magic. I can't kill this enemy. I now just need to die so I can restart. I need to figure out a way to use the littlest amount of magic and kill all of the enemies, then get the flower. But I have to do it within a good amount of time or they will respawn. And as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but those enemies that are with the shields, they're using this crazy ability where they put their hands in the ground and it hits you no matter where you are. That means I cannot avoid damage. Look underneath the unicorn. Sometimes you'll see fiery things coming out from under the ground underneath my feet, damaging me. That's because that's what it's doing, damaging me. They hit me from like a mile away. They don't get stopped either. Like you push them around and they still hit you and you take damage. This is the worst area. 3 shielded enemies, bugs flying at you from every direction. Both of the other enemies can hit you from no matter where you are, and you have about 15 seconds from the first enemy killed to kill the rest and the flower. It is fucking madness. This took me almost 2 hours. Just this little part. Just this tiny little part. And after that, everything else was smooth sailing. I honestly believe this was an unintentionally difficult part of the game. Why in the middle of this level, the only level in the game to have this and do this kind of thing, would they do this? I think it's because they didn't really test this out very well. Here is my successful attempt after almost 2 hours. And let me tell you what, I got really good at understanding where everything was and how to dodge things at this point. But the idea is that you need to aim properly, stand at the right distance away from the enemy, and use exactly the amount of magic you need. If you look at the bottom right corner, look at my magic meter. It is completely depleted after I deal all the damage to all the enemies. That's all I had. I am now 100% perfect on hitting everyone with the exact amount of damage they needed and then being able to kill the flower. And then I stand there in disbelief at how long it took me to do that. I just don't fucking understand what they were thinking, man. Everything is against you in that part, and there's just the right amount of everything. The thing that broke it for me was understanding how to use the charge, because the charge does not use magic, but it does deal damage to shields. However, it only works within the first second of using the charge. You can't just be charging and then slam into someone. You need to charge right into their face and it will deal some damage to their shield. However, you also are going to take damage yourself, because I don't know what they were thinking, man. They just weren't thinking about how all this stuff affected your play, but there's no way to just charge into someone and take no damage. You're going to take damage if you're charging into people. You just need to learn when to charge, how to charge, and use your magic to maybe help stagger them so they can't damage you as much. But it's horrible. It's horrible, and all I'm doing is healing a couple enemies and hitting a flower. It took 2 fucking hours. Here is one of the bosses. They are practically all the same. You must use your magic against them and hit them, and when you use your fire or, lightning spell, whatever it is that the gnome and the unicorn cast together, you can then hit them with your anything else. The idea is that you hit them with both of their magic spells at the same time to actually deal damage. So when he's flying around the air, I can't hit him with both spells. One of them is an area of effect on the ground fire spell. So then I just have to follow him around until he lands on the ground and then do a little bit of damage. That's it. That's the only thing you do. You can't hit him with anything else. You can't do anything else. You just fly around waiting for them to be in a spot where you can deal damage to them. The bosses are not hard. They take all of about 5 to 10 minutes of just figuring out a good pattern. And once you figure out the pattern, everywhere you're standing is hallowed ground, but not healing your health, just magic. So you have infinite magic here, which is really helpful. Otherwise, this would be impossible. But at the very least, they give you infinite magic, so that's it. This game is just so weird. The controls are weird. I never ended up liking the overall movement of the unicorn. I didn't like that I had to jam on the right stick in certain directions, and it wasn't very accurate. I didn't like that your triangle spell from Korik, the gnome. It shoots over the top of enemies' heads if you're too close, so you can't be right on top of them. Even though the unicorn spells need you to be right on top of them, you need to be a slight distance away for his spells to hit. So it makes things annoying, especially when you need to charge into them because you're just constantly losing magic and you can't fucking heal it. I think you can slightly heal magic off of an enemy when they die, but it's so little, it almost doesn't matter. It's like why even? You know, I don't know. The game just feels like utter shit. Here's the last boss, the Dark Unicorn. My name is actually Pryzm. His name is Zartu. Cool name, buddy. He shoots at you a little bit, and then when you dodge him enough, he lands on the ground. You fire him with spells like all the other bosses. It's the same thing, just move around. The only other thing he does is summon a bunch of plants. You just gotta go up to the plant and kill it. I mean, it's not hard. You just walk up to it and smack it with your staff a bunch. And then when he comes down, hit him with both spells. It was a once and done thing, just like all the other fights. It's too easy. Like, the bosses were easy, but the some of the plants in there with the enemy placement and the way that things work sucked. Just sucked major unicorn dick. Yay, we did it. The gnome and the unicorn are friends now. And let me tell you what, the first couple times you play, you have this dialogue between them where they hate each other, and then halfway through the game, they kind of like each other. And at the end of the game, they say the same three lines each time. They don't like each other, like each other. They're like, wow, we actually are becoming friends. And they're like, yeah. Wow, we're actually becoming friends. Yeah. Wow, we're actually becoming friends. Yeah, over and over and over and over. They either make fun of each other, or when they become friends, they say nice things to each other. The same three things, though. The same three things each time. You're like, wow, this is cool. I wish I could turn the voices off, but you can't. I hit credits. I'm done with this game. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this. This is a short one and ridiculous, so if you'd like to play this, don't. This gets an E. I'm not giving it an F because it is playable. I was able to beat it in about 4 or 5 hours, and it is absolutely a game, but it is not at all a good one. It's annoying, it's not easy to control, it wasn't easy to tell what to do, and the objectives are the same and are not fun. After the first 3 flowers, you're like, I'm done with this, but you've got 20 levels to go, so that's just Pryzm Chapter One. Of zero, of nothing. There's no other chapters. There's nothing. And if you look at the art gallery, look at this. Look at some of the art gallery stuff. There's a couple pictures. It's like they had an idea. They drew a couple pictures and were like, yeah, that's good. That's it. This game has been beaten. Screw this game. Don't play it. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I know it was a little silly, but this game sucked, dude. This game sucked. And thank you to everyone in the stream who got to suffer through the 2 hours of one fucking objective, which sucked, and then everything else, which took half an hour to beat. And we got to make fun of the game and have a good time, so that was important. It's always good to have the stream. It would have been a bore by myself. So thank you everyone for being there. And of course, thank you to all the subscribers, the followers, the channel members, everyone. You are what's making this possible. I cannot thank you guys enough. I will be back soon with another video, probably Rogue Galaxy. Soon. Later.